Christy, you and I have never talked yet about the nonprofit. I promise we will.
That I understand you've been busy. Hello everybody. By the way, I was being rude.
No.
Hi.
I'm wondering, are you in my class, Ruby? Who else here on Monday and Thursdays?
Yep.
I'm wondering what I don't get to see. Yeah.
I think most of them from up and down the East Coast, no telling who's on your team.
I know it's really, but be thankful where you are, because the individuals that are coming on now, they're having to do 3 days a week instead of 2 to be able to fit everything in by the time, but really by mid-December, so that we can then get them onboarded and get their in-house training.
I do have a quick question for you. When are you going to be in the office this week? So that I can get the coupons for the H&R Block referral program
Okay, now Christy, remind me where you're at.
in Suffolk.
Okay.
Remember, you were going to give them to me to go to the farmer's market.
Yeah, and I had some. I used them all up at the Peanut Fest. I'll
Oh,
make some tonight.
okay.
And tomorrow, what kind of time do you have tomorrow? Because I've got to be at Virginia Beach 3 to 6 for meeting students.
Tomorrow and Friday is going to be a bad day for me. I have the lovely opportunity of getting a colonoscopy, so I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm working from home tomorrow. I'm gonna be having fun, guys. Eating popsicles and drinking my punch.
Oh yeah. So after this, I promise I will give you a call tonight after this, and we'll look at both schedules and work something out.
All right, sounds good.
So Don, what have you been up to?
Not much. Waiting for the class to start next Monday.
Oh, and Mr. Tyler's on here too. We are at the top of the hour. I was going to see if we couldn't give just about a minute and start. I'm going to ask a silly question because I think I did it right this time. Did you get the link in the email?
Yes.
I sent this after. Okay, good enough. So finally did it the way I was supposed to do it. I keep working that thing. I know I'll get it eventually.
It wanted me to log in, so I went back to one of the old ones, and then that way it went right in.
Fantastic. Whichever works for you. Whatever works. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so we are a minute after the hour, and I know everybody has things that they have on their plate. So Tyler, you've started the recording. Okay, I'm going to go over here and see if I can't share my screen. Okay, so are you able to see the screen, guys?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So first off, of course, this is our meeting. I think it's about our 6th meeting. I might be wrong, but I think that we've been together now about 6 weeks. And that means that a lot of you are really, really right there at the final. Okay. So tonight, besides myself and Tyler, one of our team leaders from out in the Emporia area is going to try to join us. It's Steve Estero. And I was hoping that Steve might talk a little bit about, the Emporia area. I'm not sure, which of you are in that region, but I know Steve can use some help. Okay. Oops. So this upcoming week, my plan tomorrow is to be at Kemp's River from 3 to 6. Okay, that's the office, Kemp's River, which is our only Virginia Beach office. The following week, and I got to look at this because I just got a schedule about what I call skills training. Oh, and look, that spell check didn't work. We're going to have a Vista this week. And anyway, I think I've told y'all that once you finish your class, you're really not done. We have to train you on what our software is and what we expect in the offices, and what Block has dictated for our tax season. And we call those training sessions, which by the way are paid, we call those training sessions skills. Skills to win the season, the upcoming tax season. So I know that Tyler shot off an email that I haven't looked to make sure that these times are going to work next week for visits, but I will work around them. That said,
They're good.
Okay, Emporia
You should
is
be
on.
you should be good. It's Friday the 22nd. There's some stuff, and then on Monday there's some stuff in the morning. But other than that, you're good.
Okay, fantastic. So Emporia on Tuesday, 3 to 6, and back in Franklin on Thursday from 3 to 6. So I'm trying to again get back out to these places that might not be as close to home as I would normally stay. But I just would like to see all of your faces and actually have a nice conversation with you. So tonight I was trying to think of what I could talk about, and we've got some important topics. I know that you are learning all of this tax theory, but once you actually get into the office, it's more than just inputting that data and giving the client a return and saying you're on your way. You need to do things, and I've kind of touched on a few of those items. How do you personalize that tax experience for the client? Does anybody have any ideas on how we might handle that?
I think part of it has to be doing that interview. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You were saying it. It's the due diligence. I'll be honest. I mean, it starts with finding out about them, family and things, and getting to know them, and how can we help them, and and listening, paying attention, because that'll help us to be more thorough in doing their taxes as well. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm sorry, who was the other individual?
It was me. I was saying the same thing of just having that interview and in that conversation. Oh, really? When did you get married? Oh, where did you get married? Oh, here. Oh, how long have you been? And you just have that conversation. You're asking, oh, look at that beautiful ring on your hand. When, where? And then you start asking questions. You start getting some information.
Absolutely. A couple of years ago, we started really, when the client sits down, you don't just put your hands on the keyboard. You talk to the client for a few minutes before you start inputting their data, because you need to know what's going on. You need to be asking questions, but more importantly, you need to be listening to what they're saying. I will tell you that I cringe when I am in an office, and I know we get busy, but if I hear a client talk about their children and then the tax professional says, "Do you have kids?" I just want to say, "Where were you?" So again, that's one of my things that I really, really try to focus on. You need to make sure that you are listening to that client, and you need to treat that client with respect. They are there for a very, very important reason. And remember, you're the tax expert, not them. They may feel that they can do one thing, but you know that that's not a reality. And you have to be able to answer their questions and let them know in a positive way why what they're suggesting will not work. So you always want to talk to the client, not at them. So those are some things that I like to make sure that I point out.
Maria,
Mm-hmm.
one thing I can say that I experienced this past season was the personal part of the tax professional. When they had the appointment with the client, they personally came out of their cubicle and walked to the door and introduced themselves and walked with the client back to their station. Instead of, I did see someone just walk, poke their head out and say, "Oh, you can come back here." But to personalize it, to start it off really nice would be to just walk out of your cubicle and go to your client, introduce yourself, and then escort them back to the cubicle. Then that's a little bit more personal to get started. Just that's what I experienced.
And I'm going to tell you, and this is Ruby, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought it was. Yes, that is exactly how we want it done. You don't call them back like they're a number. Like, and I'm not saying anything bad about a bank, but you're standing in line at a bank, and nowadays the tellers will go, "Okay, you can come down." No, we go up front and we greet our client. We make them know that we know who they are. And another important thing is when you are finished, you don't just let them get up and walk out.
Correct.
You walk them to the door.
Yes.
So equally as important, greet them,
Okay.
let them know that you know who they are. And when you are finished, you want to make sure that you do it in reverse. You want to walk them out. It makes a huge difference. It really does. And remember, we have those surveys, and those clients let us know what they feel and how important that personal touch means to them.
Exactly.
Can I throw something out there real quick, Maria?
You sure can.
So I'm gonna share something that blew my mind. Like, it literally, I could not comprehend this when I first heard it when I joined the company a year ago. And it was that 50% of our new customers never come back. 50%. That's crazy, right? So I want you to think about that, and think about the fact that someone can literally go sit in their car and do their taxes on their cell phone if they don't like you. And the fact that the reason that they're coming in is because of your person, you showing them the benefit of working with you, of those tax tips, of treating them like a person, about going above and beyond and giving that customer service. And that's the why customer service is the number one focus for me and for our company. And I just want you to think about that when you're going through the season. If you don't capitalize on that relationship you've built and really giving them a great experience, then it can be a lot worse than 50%, right? So just, I'll get off my soapbox now. I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, that's a good place to be, because customer service is number one for me. It just, again, I cringe when I see any of those surveys where the client perceives that we have done them wrong. And I'm not talking about that they thought that the return costs more than they thought it should. But it's when we are doing those things like not listening or not giving them those tax tips. You'd be surprised at how important it is when you are explaining to the client and explaining in terms that they know. I know people that have been around a while, and I talk about this too. When you are explaining something to a client, you have to explain it in terms that they understand. You don't talk tax, not our tax talk to them. You bring it down to, or bring it to what they understand. And you can do that in a very positive, respectful way of not talking down to them. And all of that comes back then is to how do you build your client base? Now, every one of you is new. So obviously, other than the fact that your friends and family will probably come to see you, then how are you going to build your base of clients? How do you think that that's accomplished?
Well, I know in your
I-
world, you guys are doing peanut festivals and handing out business cards and things to try to drum up business for Suffolk. I'm not sure much is going on in Virginia Beach as far as that thing. We don't have peanut festivals. So I know that Joy had said she puts an advertisement in something local, that she puts an ad in there, that she gets a lot of water.
Right. I will tell you that when you talked about business cards, we're going to provide you with business cards. I would tell you that you keep business cards in your pocket all the time. When you go out to eat, you leave one on the table. You have a waiter or waitress, you give it to them. When they give you the bill, when they bring you your receipt, you make sure you leave your business card there. Don't be shy. And make sure that they know that that's what your business is. And I'm not sure, but we do have events, and we'll tell you more about that. But the Chesapeake office, which is very close to Kemps River, Gabby is always at a festival. And we need volunteers to help us out. And certainly next year, if you would like to join me at the Peanut Fest, I am happy to have you, because we don't get just people in Suffolk. I had people from Emporia, Franklin, Surrey, Hampton. I mean, they're not just locals. We have people from all over that come to these events, and it's a good way to help to build your client base. So that those are some important things that I wanted to talk about. There was one other thing that I just wanted to bring up, and it really goes to that client value. When you are doing a client tax return, there's a good possibility that they are, especially like if it's one of your friends and family, and we're going to encourage you as well, that they didn't do their taxes with us previously. And we do have a wonderful free service that we call Second Look, where we will review a previously completed tax return, make sure that it was done properly, make sure that you got all of the credits that you were due, and then let you know what the outcome is. So if you did it right, good for you. H&R Block will give you their standard guarantee to stand behind that. So if you had us review it and then the IRS sends you a letter, then we're going to stand behind it for you for penalties and interest.
And it's completely free too.
Yeah.
Linda has her hand up, Maria, just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say that as a prior, and well, Katie would say that I'm prior client, because I'm probably might be a client again this year too. But one of the reasons is, like, the first year I came to Mary at H&R Block, I had a bunch of stuff that was confusing to me. And keep in mind, I'm an undergrad in accounting. So, I mean, I typically would do my own taxes. I just didn't want to bother with it. You know, it was just too much. I figured I'm going to have to do some research. So she did it for me, and she made me feel so comfortable, so knowledgeable, understood everything that she was working on, that when it came time the next year, I'm like, I know it's going to get done right, and I don't have to worry about it. This is one stress that I don't have to have. So I think we're up to our third year on it. And it's just because she makes me feel comfortable, and I know that if there's anything, to be caught or done, she's got it. And I think that's a real important thing, is that we, you know, uh, give people that sense that, we're looking for them. And not only that, but we're looking at some situations where we can even help them, better, or something else to consider. I think that's the big thing. And as far as like recruiting new clients, I find that when you really love what you do and you really enjoy it, that even if somebody's talking about some investments they made or something, I'm like, oh, do you know you can do this when it comes tax time or something? And just kind of socializing it, I think it helps a lot too. And people say, remember that what you brought up or something? Yes, can you help me on that? So just, I think the more you love what you do with this, the better you are at it. And
I think you're right, Linda. I really
great.
do think you're right. And I will tell you, as somebody that's done this for a little while, it just warms your heart when you have somebody that asks for you by name year after year. If you move like I have from office to office at times, they will search you out, and we have a way for them to find you. Uh, so
On
it's
that note,
really.
Maria,
Mhm.
since Emporium is closed during the summertime, I have been working in Roanoke Rapids. I have people who came to me with letters. They didn't understand them, and I've explained I explained the letters to them to where they could understand, and that they were really happy. And now they're my clients in Emporia. Instead of just
Absolutely.
driving around the corner to Roanoke Rapids, they drive that 25 minutes to Emporia. So they'll follow you if you
Yes,
give
they will.
them that personal touch.
And guys, this is Steve. He's the team leader from out in Emporia that I told you about. Steve's been around for a good while too, and you can hear, it sounds like we're giving testimonies, but it's the truth. If you like what you're doing, if you like helping people, it's such a wonderful reward. There was again another thing I wanted to talk about, and we will talk about um, again what I call the products, which is our standard guarantee, which everybody gets, our peace of mind, our um, uh, tax identity shield. But when we get into all of that, that really is just as much a part of the experience for the client as the actual return. And I'm saying this because sometimes people take shortcuts and don't go into those items like the tax tips and letting the client know about the fact that we stand behind their return. You are doing a disservice to your client if you're not fully disclosing um, what they can have with that tax experience with us. So again, we'll talk a whole lot more concerning those type of things. We know that, again, we have to communicate with our clients. We have to establish that credibility with them. We have to and I'm going to tell you, you have to remember you are the expert. That might be your first year in doing taxes, but you will be the tax expert when they sit down with you. And you have an office full of additional experts to help you when when a question comes up that you're not sure of. Because I promise you, we are not going to set you with a client that is beyond your expertise. Okay, we know that this is your first year, so it is not our goal to get you flustered. It is our goal to make or help you grow and gain the knowledge and experience to continue on with us, not just one season, but many seasons. So I know I rambled a little bit tonight, but again, this type of thing is super important. And this is why we will want to do our case studies. And we don't want to just go in and do entries into the system. We want to do, and for lack of a better phrase, role play. We want to have you do this with another individual so you can be the tax professional, they can be the client, and you get used to asking the questions, and they can give you hints on what other types of questions you might not have even thought you should ask. So when we get past the test and get you hired, I want you to know that we are there to fully support you, to give you the rest of the knowledge you need to be a good tax professional. So were there any other questions, or have I rambled enough tonight about these?
I've got some random stuff, but I don't know. Do you still have more content to go over?
No, not tonight.
So just two quick things. One is the P10 information.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So everyone has to go through a process and register with the IRS for P10s, and that should be coming out sometime next week. As soon as I get that information, I'm going to send you a YouTube video on how to go through that process and a credit card number for how to pay for it, because we're going to pay for this H&R. So my ask is, keeps an eye on your email over this next week for that email that you'll get from me. And then also number 2 is work from anywhere. Maria, can we ask Dawn to turn all of our first years on for work from anywhere once they're hired?
Absolutely, we will.
And what that'll do will be, it'll allow all of you guys to work from home. So like, say you have a client you're trying to finish up, instead of having to drive all the way to the office and have the client meet you there and take payment there, you can actually log in on a computer at home. They can pay over the phone or remotely through the app or whatever to close the return, and then you can log out, and that quick you do a return and get paid.
And that's awesome if you have family that's out of the area. They can upload their documents on their MyBlock account. You can do the return, and then they can go in and approve it and pay online. It's like a win-win. Okay, so because we have new people coming in all the time, I'll probably say this until we're finished our hiring. These are 2 links. The first one is for the first year tax pro. So you need to do that so we can hire you. And then the accelerated tax pro link, that's for those who, and this process that we're working with is to, make sure that as many of you as we can get into that accelerated program. So I'd really like you to put 2 applications in. All right. Really like you to do it. And you don't have to wait until you take the test. You can go ahead now. You will set in a holding pattern until all of this is done. You are not, this will make it a lot faster process for you. And just in case any of you have forgotten, and again, every week We have new people that are signing up. I'll be signing up students until November 1st. So at least until the middle of November, I'll be talking about these links until every one of you is signed. But for the Accelerated Tax Associate, again, just a reminder that you will have the opportunity to earn $750 in addition to what your paycheck is if you can meet these milestones. So we're there to help you to succeed. Okay.
And that work from anywhere is an easy way to get around some of the requirements there. So like if you have to write X amount of returns and you're in a low return office, you could always do some returns from other offices there. Or if you're only able to work 25 hours, but the eligibility is 30, you could do those extra 5 hours as work from anywhere to work through holds or something. It's just an easy way that you could still hit those requirements.
So one more time, I need to have y'all apply. I don't have applications on everybody. And I've already told you about my plans. I've increased my number of offices that I'm at since the doctor told me I could drive. I'm trying to get out there. And so any other questions about what we've talked about tonight, or just anything else in general about your tax classes? If it's something that I need to call you back individually, I promise to do that. But what other questions does everybody have tonight?
Maria, I stuck a question in the chat that I'm having some tech troubles, and maybe that's a conversation for just you and I and not the whole class, but I can't access my midterm on my midterm review.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we need to get you to get a hold of the support group. So okay. I will go into chat and I will give you a call right after this. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
So Christy,
just one
second.
Just wanted to throw it out there too. If you pass, I know we're getting close to some people finishing the course. If you finish and pass the final, let us know. We can actually move forward and hire you now. So
yes.
Let us know as soon as you pass that final.
Yeah.
And then if you fail the final or get close to the final, let us know. There might be things we can do to help work through it as well. So we're here to support you.
Absolutely. I need to be able to go out and visit and see every one of y'all.
I saw Steve jumped on too. Steve is the leader that Maria was talking about earlier. He has the Emporia office. Did you want to share anything about your office, Steve, or say anything? Oh, we might have lost him.
Oh, okay.
So there I am. Got lost there for a minute. My office is kind of small and quaint. My people have been there for years. If you go to the Emporia office, they may be a little hard to get along with at first, but they'll warm up to you. But they'll help you as much as they can.
There is definitely a ton of experience in that office. Our most tenured tax pro is in that office, and they have so much experience and everyone to help. I think it's going to be great.
Between the 5 of them, there's 1,000 years of experience.
It looks like someone else is raising their hand too. I can't see who because I'm on mobile though.
Shannon.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am.
I had 2 questions.
Yes.
If you want to do taxes for someone they're out of state, how do we do that?
Okay, so we will help you. You will help them set up a MyBlock account. It's an app, and then they will upload their documents to their MyBlock account, where you can access them, do the return, and then once the return is done, then they get to just review the results. And we can do this in a combination of ways. talk more about that later, but they would review the return, say, I agree, pay with a credit card, and then it ships right on to the IRS.
Okay, so even though we're trained to do Virginia taxes,
Mhm.
we don't have to stick with Virginia clients?
No, I mean, we do taxes for every state that it has a tax that requires a tax return. So, for example, Florida and Texas are the two that pop up into my head that don't have state tax. I think
One of
Tennessee is one of them.
one of our highest writing tax pros this last year just moved to our area, and almost 80% of our taxes were out of state from a district she moved from. And then we're also a very heavy military area. So you
Absolutely.
get people who move into the area and you do their tax returns, and then they move away. But because you made that connection, they still want you to do their taxes and will contact you, and you can do it remotely. And it's a great way to continuously build your book of business in our district very easily because of the influx of those military people.
Absolutely. And we do have the resources to show you, because not every state does the same thing. So there are resources and books and classes for each and every state.
And
Yeah.
I know Emporia and Roanoke Rapids both do a lot of truck drivers. So you'll get the truck drivers who drive cross country all year.
Oh, cool. I was also going to ask, along the same lines of training, how do we get the continuous training? Is it something we sign up for or pay for?
Absolutely, absolutely. So far as doing continuing education, remember that your level is based on the type of classes that you take. So right now you're taking 72 hours just to start to work with us. Okay, that's the beginning. Every year to come back to work for Block, you have to take 18 credit hours. And we have a program, we call it Block Academy. We offer classes through there, online and virtual, that you can take to get those credit hours, or you can go to outside sources. The credit to take classes with Block, once you're an employee, you pay $35 usually I pay it in January, but $35, and then I can take as many CE hours as I want. The requirement is 13 federal, 3 update, and 2 ethics every year. And that, I will tell you, I usually end up with about 30, just because of what I need to take or what I want to take. The other piece of it is your pay after this first year is going to be based on your level of knowledge. And we'll talk about certifying and going up in levels and what you need to do to get that increased knowledge. And there are several ways that can be accomplished as well. Maybe that'll be something we'll talk about 2 weeks from now, after most everybody has taken their midterm. We're getting close to that final. So, but does that help you, Shannon? All right. Okay. And any other questions? Anybody else? Okay. Sandy, do you still have your hand up?